This is the first video on the anatomy and physiology of the central nervous system, starting from the brain and its parts. The brain is a complex organ divided into several regions, each with distinct functions and anatomy. Here is an overview suitable for a medical student. I have divided it into some parts to keep the information understandable and easy to memorize. This is the first part of the brain anatomy and physiology. Gross anatomy of the brain. The brain is divided into three primary parts. Forebrain or prosencephalon includes the cerebrum and diencephalon. Midbrain, the mesencephalon, a small central part of the brainstem. Hindbrain, rhombencephalon, that includes the cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. The brain is protected by the skull and meninges and bathed in cerebrospinal fluid, which cushions and nourishes it. We will look into the details of these structures one by one. The major component of the forebrain is cerebrum. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, left and right, connected by the corpus callosum. The cerebrum is divided into four lobes by various shallow grooves and deep fissures. These are frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The cerebral cortex is involved in higher order functions like cognition and perception. In this slide, you can see the two cerebral hemispheres with major sulci and areas. Right hemisphere is the representational hemisphere and is responsible for controlling the left side of the body, temporal and spatial relationships, analyzing non-verbal information, and communicating emotions. Whereas the left hemisphere, the categorical hemisphere, controls the right side of the body and produce and understand language. Corpus callosum is the communication between the left and right side of the brain. Each cerebral hemisphere have a central sulcus which separates the frontal lobe from the parietal lobe. This sulcus is known as the sulcus of Rolando. In this picture, it is seen in between the green and purple areas. In front of the central sulcus is the primary motor cortex, located in the frontal lobe, whereas behind this sulcus is the primary somatosensory area located in the parietal lobe. On the lateral surface, there is a deep sulcus or fissure present horizontally named lateral sulcus or Sylvian fissure. This separates the frontal lobe from the temporal lobe. You can see the primary auditory area in the superior temporal gyrus shown in blue color. The posterior boundary of the parietal lobe is marked by the parieto-occipital sulcus. The triangular area left behind at the back of the cerebrum is the occipital lobe. This diagram shows the major functioning areas of the cerebrum, including the primary and association motor areas in the frontal lobe. Broca's area, circled in the prefrontal part, is associated with speech formation. Primary and association sensory areas in the parietal lobe. Wernicke's area is located at the end of the superior part of the left temporal lobe, and it is responsible for understanding written and spoken language. Also labeled in front of the Wernicke's area, the primary and association auditory areas responsible for hearing sensation. Primary and association visual areas responsible for vision are marked in the occipital lobe at the posterior part of the cerebral hemisphere. Now we will see the individual lobes and their functions. Frontal lobe, located at the front, it is the main site of higher cognitive functions. Functions of frontal lobe include intelligence, attention and thought, voluntary movement, decision making, planning, problem solving, language processing and comprehension, and olfaction. In this slide, you can see a motor homunculus, meaning little man, which represents a map of brain areas assigned for motor processing of different anatomical parts of the body. Also, a 3D model of motor homunculus is shown on the left. The body parts that require more complex and fine movements like the hands and mouth are represented by larger brain area. This correlates with the large hands and mouth but small feet of the motor homunculus. Abnormal functioning of the frontal lobes is associated with a large number of disorders. These include attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. Significant changes in personality and behavior occur in frontal lobe dysfunction due to space-occupying lesions of the frontal lobe. These may include any or many of the following depending upon the area affected. Poor attention span, being easily distracted or trouble switching attention between tasks. Difficulty organizing tasks and controlling impulses. Memory loss, difficulty moving certain muscles including muscles used in speech. Trouble in using or understanding words. Reduced motivation, reduced sense of taste or smell, impaired judgment and reduced creativity, falling due to weakness on one side of the body and weakness on one side of the face. The temporal lobe, located below the frontal and parietal lobes, comprises of hippocampus and vernix area along with primary and association auditory areas. Functions include perception, face recognition, object recognition, memory acquisition, auditory processing, understanding language, and emotional reactions. Here you can see the two important areas of brain, vernix area and Broca's area. These are involved in human language processing. Vernix area is primarily responsible for comprehending the meaning of words, enabling us to understand language. In contrast, Broca's area, working in coordination with the motor cortex, facilitates the production of speech, such as when reading words aloud. These two regions are interconnected by a bundle of nerve fibers called the arcuate fasciculus, which allows signals from vernix area to travel to Broca's area, enabling seamless communication between language comprehension and speech production systems. Damage to the temporal lobes can cause agnosia, which refer to the inability to recognize specific categories like body parts, colors, faces, music, and smells. Fits may occur. These may be referred to temporal lobe epilepsy. This type of epilepsy is often associated with weird feelings such as abnormal smells or déjà vu sensations, which accompany or precede a fit. Short-term memory problems, inability to recall a word. Déjà vu refers to already seen. It is a phenomenon of having the strong sensation that an event or experience currently being experienced has already been experienced in the past. In the next video, we will continue with the other parts of the cerebral hemispheres. Stay tuned. If you like the information, subscribe the channel and share with your friends. Thank you.